sit down. Be rude. Stop making me laugh. I can't.
Just tell me about the murders.
Okay.
If we have to restart this one more time, just tell me about the murders.
Now I'm smiling. So
Sorry, the murders are grim. Murder is bad. Just start it.
murder is bad. Anyways,
Tell me what this bad murder
I can't
was.
do it. On the evening of September 14, 1922, in New Brunswick, New Jersey.
Oh, imagine living in New Jersey. I'm sorry, I had to say that. Continue.
You're aware half of my entire family lives in New Jersey.
Yes, and I'm sorry. No, don't hit me.
Spill your tea again.
Oh.
Eleanor Mills left home around 7:30 p.m. without telling her family where she was going. Reverend Edward Hall leaves his home to head to his church, telling his wife and brother-in-law that he wouldn't be gone too long. Eleanor had owed Edward money after he'd given her a loan, but it was quickly revealed that there was much more connection between the two of them.
Oh, this sounds like my. Oh, please. Is it a priest cheating on his wife?
Just listen.
Oh no. How old is Eleanor? Because this is like weird.
Oh, I don't know. I didn't write that down. They're close enough.
Okay, close. It's not like weird.
No, that's
like,
the next one.
Oh, okay.
So around 2:30 a.m., Edward's wife Frances tells her brother that her husband hasn't come home. So they go to check the church, and then after that they go to check the Mills home because they had known he was going to meet her. He had told them that.
Interesting. So like, I feel like if you're like going to say like, okay, I'm going to your house, like obviously I'm not gonna murder you.
He just said he was meeting with her.
Okay, but like
the
if I'm
meeting
gonna,
wasn't
like, say,
supposed
like-
to be at their house.
Even still, like if I'm gonna say, oh yeah, I'm gonna meet Emily at 6:30 p.m. like on the night you get murdered, like I feel like that would rule me out as a suspect because like if I'm gonna murder you, no offense, I'm gonna be like, oh yeah, I went to see every friend except Emily.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, but when there were no lights on in either building, they decided to wait until morning. So apparently,
That's a bad idea.
Edward leaving was a common enough occurrence that they just decided to wait until morning.
Why is like the Reverend like? I feel like the Reverend is like a dependable person.
They'd been gone from 7:30 until about 2:30.
AM or PM?
7:30 p.m. to 2:30 a.m.
Oh, dang.
So no one had seen them in that time, and they weren't at either place they were supposed to be at.
Oh, look.
So apparently it was just normal in 1920s in New Jersey to do that. And actually, Frances reported Edward missing the following afternoon. So she waited until the afternoon.
I feel like that's the like you're an adult. Like if you're like have a pattern of like kind of disappearing. Like I feel like
there was nothing about a pattern. I feel like that would have come into it, but
okay.
I don't think so.
Interesting. I don't know.
And there was no info on whether or not Eleanor's husband James reported her missing. I just didn't see that anywhere. I'm assuming he did, but it seems unlikely actually.
Interesting.
So 2 days later, September 16th, 1922, Raymond Schneider and Pearl Balmer, this is the one,
Oh.
the age difference.
Oh no.
Guess.
Oh, 20 years?
Close.
Oh, how old were they?
26 and 15.
Ew, that is not good. Oh.
Alright, yeah, here, it gets better.
Oh no.
They were walking along DeRussi's Lane, which was known as a lover's lane,
Jesus.
used by trysting couples.
Trysting? From the 1922 police report?
No, that's an article from like a word from like a news article. That's what they called it.
My God.
So you can guess
Forget
what that
hot
means.
girl summer, trysting girl summer.
You can guess what that means.
Yeah, okay.
If they're going to a lane in the middle of nowhere.
Yes, thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
And they stumbled across a crabapple tree with what looked like a man and a woman lying on their backs under it.
Oh,
And they were both dressed nicely. There was a hat covering the man's face, a scarf covering the woman's throat, and they were clearly dead.
Oh. Okay, fine.
Yes.
Sorry. Clearly dead.
Yes. They just knew, somehow they knew immediately that they were dead bodies, apparently.
You've got like the hat, you've got the scarf, you've got the death.
And there was a business card propped up against the man's foot, which was how they identified him, because it was Edward Hall's card. And there was also his wallet with his driver's license was laying nearby.
Interesting.
And a live couple called the police from a nearby home.
Oh,
and
the live Tristan couple. Sorry, I love that word.
I haven't even gotten through a page of this yet.
Oh, Lord.
And Surrounding the bodies were ripped up love letters, revealing the already well-gossiped affair between the two.
So, between like the 15-year-old?
No, between the priest and Eleanor.
Oh, wait, what? Hold up.
No, there were around the bodies of Eleanor and Edward.
And that was the reverend and the lady?
Yes, they were found by the other two.
Oh, okay.
So around their bodies
better.
was their love letters ripped up, revealing their well-gossiped affair.
Oh, bro, if you're a reverend, like, that's, like, even worse cheating on your wife. Like, I don't condone cheating, but, like, you're a reverend. You're supposed to be a pinnacle of society, man.
Oh my god.
New Jersey's crazy. I'm sorry.
Stop.
I'm sorry.
So the bodies were arranged peacefully. However, the method of death was very
Peacefully.
brutal.
What? Oh. Okay, continue.
Eleanor's head was resting on Edward's arm, and her arm was on his knee.
Okay, wait, can I ask?
And they're laying on their backs under the tree.
And, like, kind of like in a, like, serene, like, picturesque kind of thing.
And
Like-
no, it was a back lane in the woods of New Jersey. It was
No,
not
but like
picturesque.
you're like lying in the grass, like with your like I don't want to
No,
say
it
the
was
word lover.
it was New Brunswick, New Jersey.
Okay,
it was not
that's
picturesque.
Okay, imagine, but like wait,
Anyways.
I have a question. Has this been solved?
No, that's the whole point of why we're talking
Okay,
about it.
okay. I wanna say that feels like somebody was mad. Like it feels like a man and a woman killed them.
Wait till you see what happens next.
Sorry, excuse me. I am
like
a
I
forensic
said- no,
expert
shut up.
from Criminal Minds.
Shut
Just
up.
saying.
Like I said, the bodies were arranged peacefully, but the method of death was brutal.
Oh boy.
Edward had been shot point blank range,
Oh.
and Eleanor had been shot 3 times in the head, and her throat was slit so severely, her head was almost completely decapitated.
Okay, if you say this is unsolved, there has to be like really good reason why Eleanor's husband didn't do it, because I get the feeling like Eleanor's husband was really bad.
I don't know. I don't know. There's some stuff, but not really. So the thing that they said about her throat was that it was so deep, you could see her backbone, like visibly.
So I feel like that, like, okay, that feels like a man to me, like, because women tend to poison and, like, not slit people's throats. I don't know.
Women tend to poison.
Yes. Yes, they do, Emily. Oh my.
Anyways, so the case became obviously #1 in the tabloids due to the heavy romance
The
nature of it.
Tristan.
I'm not gonna get through it.
I'm sorry.
And the crabapple tree where they were found, because it became such a highly popularized story, actually became a big tourist destination.
Oh boy.
And
We should have driven there.
5-hour
people
trip. Actually went there. They set up stands. There were vendors there,
No.
all during the investigation. They
Okay, I can tell why this is unsolved.
the people that went there literally stripped the tree of its bark completely. The entire tree was almost destroyed. And there were even people that were selling the dirt around the tree
Oh my god.
for 25 cents a bag.
Okay, I feel like though that is like a good business thing. Like I want to make some like
Oh my God.
money and like selling
Well,
dirt. If people are willing to buy dirt, like I don't know.
Well, here's the next thing. The investigation dragged on for weeks
okay, but like
because they lost. I'm gonna sneeze. Cut this.
no, that sucks.
Yeah. So the investigation dragged on for weeks, with the main suspects being Edward's wife Frances and Frances's 2 brothers.
Wait, Edward's wife.
So Edward is the priest.
It was not Edward's wife. I'm gonna tell you, women do not like slit people's throats that violently. Okay.
Well, there is some. It may have been. So,
okay.
one of the things for this that wasn't really found out until much later, but I just included it in this box. I didn't know where else to put it. That less than a week after Edward was killed, Frances sent clothes to Philadelphia to be cleaned and dyed black. So it's not much other than circumstantial, but it's
dyed
still.
black. Like I feel like 1922. Like if you're not super rich, like what would you do
See,
like with clothes?
here's the
Because
thing.
like people
Here's
made
the
their own
thing.
clothes.
She was wealthy as.
Oh, she was?
She was loaded. So.
I don't know. Like, oh.
So I said, why not James? He had a decent alibi because the townspeople had
Decent
No,
alibi.
the people had both seen and heard him doing woodwork at their house at the time. So like around.
When were they killed though? In the middle of the night?
So
or,
the
like,
thing
day?
is, it's supposedly, I believe it was, the time of death was estimated to be around 10 p.m.
Okay, so it's not like okay.
Yeah, so it was, if he had like, candle or like a lamp or something out there, probably in like a garage or
believe
something.
it. I'll believe it. Now I'm thinking Francis's
and
brothers.
people heard him there.
Okay.
So, however, both Francis and James denied knowing of the affair, despite it being common knowledge. Despite it being, it wasn't the kind of thing that they were trying to hide, really. Like, everyone in the town knew.
Interesting.
So, like I said, the time of death was estimated around 10 p.m. on September 14th, and there was evidence that the bodies were arranged after they died.
Okay, respectfully, you don't, like, peacefully, in a serene setting, slit somebody's throat, okay?
Well,
like,
no, if it had been something like that, what I'm saying is there was no signs of a struggle, necessarily.
Okay.
That there was evidence that they had been killed there. There was no evidence of them having put up some sort of struggle in some sort of fight. But no, also, the evidence of them moving meant they hadn't been laying there.
Interesting.
And again, the tourism hindered the investigation. There was no murder weapon found. There's
there's two, though,
both
right?
a gun and a knife. Nothing was found.
Interesting.
I don't think there were any bullets either. So whoever was cleaned up, or because of the tourist, the murder weapons are possibly taken.
I feel
Because literally the day that the detectives went to the scene, people were there.
Okay. Because I feel like you'd find a gun and a knife really easily, but I feel like bullets, like, especially people who are, like, selling dirt, like, sell bullets.
There was nothing. So,
Yeah.
And it disrupted the crime scene and made it nearly impossible for detective work to happen. I think the most that they were able to do was blood analysis, that there was actually blood in the dirt, but other than that,
The dirt that got sold.
Yes.
Sorry.
And the business card that was propped against Edward's foot was basically useless because it'd been handled by so many people. So,
No
see,
fingerprints. And then there's no DNA.
right. So going into mid-October now, another witness comes forward, and her name was Jane Gibson, who was referred to as the Pig Woman.
Why the Pig Woman?
Because she had pigs.
Oh, okay.
She was also dying of cancer.
Poor Pig Woman.
They had to... Well, that was when it went... I'll tell that later. But supposedly, she had witnessed the murder. And so around, I think it was 9 p.m., her dog started barking. And she went out because she thought it was someone trying to steal her corn. Apparently that happens a lot in New Brunswick.
Well, you gotta have the corn to feed the pigs. What did King Corn teach us, you guys?
Mr. Daly, I'm so sorry. So she said that she witnessed a group of 4 people by the crabapple, and that some sort of altercation happened between the 4 of them, where there were gunshots, and there was a woman's voice who supposedly screamed Henry.
Henry. What are the names of the brothers and how many
Henry.
brothers?
It was Henry and William, I believe. However, her testimony was held up to a fair amount of scrutiny because the story seemed to change.
Was she Tristan? Sorry, I love that word.
You.
No.
Don't give me that look.
Okay.
Cut this out, please.
Never.
So her information seemed to change with each retelling of the story, like drastically. She would say she wasn't able to see faces. Then the next time she told it, she was able to make out what the people looked like because there was a car going down the road and the headlights. Then it was, there was actually, I could see it from my light. So it changed a lot. She described the people, but no one knew whether or not she could be trusted.
Interesting.
And actually, her own mother witnessed her testimony and sat in the very front pew sobbing into her hands and saying, "She's a liar, she's a liar."
If my mother called me out like that, like, I would be very upset.
Yeah.
Like, you gotta back me up.
Yeah. So there was a lot more that happened.
Why would she, like, lie? Like, was
I
she
don't
making
know.
money or, like...
I don't know, that's the thing. There's a lot of things that happen here that just seem to happen randomly.
Interesting.
So it could be she just wanted involved because, again, this was such a high level trial. It was in every tabloid out there. So
Get a name out there for Tristan Girl Summer.
So then 4 years later, in 1926, well, actually going back, so Frances was never arrested. Her brothers were never arrested. The case sort of died out.
Cold case.
Yeah. So in 1926, the New York Daily Mirror, which was an up-and-coming tabloid.
Mirror?
Shut up.
I'm sorry.
Which was actually started by William Randolph Hearst.
Oh, no.
Yeah. So he started this tabloid, and he wanted to get it going. And he wanted to sort of boost the circulation of it, so he redug up the case.
Okay, anything by Hearst is like, no. Did we learn nothing from Newsies?
It worked.
Oh.
Because it forced the New Jersey governor to reopen the case. So Eleanor's body was exhumed, and the autopsy revealed something different, that her tongue and vocal cords had been cut out and removed.
How did they miss that? How do you miss that?
I don't know.
Okay, but like, let's keep in mind, this is 1926.
Yeah.
Like, the most detailed forensics we have is fingerprinting.
Well, right. They probably, and blood analysis, they had that.
But like, blood splatter, like, you can't even,
But I don't know how they didn't notice it. It was maybe necessarily they just didn't look for it because they were distracted by her
But like, I feel like if your throat was slit, you like look in and be like, I don't know, I see no vocal
I guess I
cord.
can see, because they did say it was nearly decapitated.
And no tongue? Or...
Yeah.
How do you miss no tongue?
Unless her mouth was closed and they didn't want to open it to, like, break her head off.
I feel like, though, you're doing the first autopsy. Like, I feel like...
I don't know. Well, there was also... Actually, there's some more, so...
Oh, boy.
So...
This poor woman.
Yeah. Well, actually, so... She had been a singer in the church choir.
Oh, it's symbolic.
And actually, something... this... Frances had reportedly told the choir her husband wouldn't be attending their practice because he was out of town the day he went missing. Now, I can see she didn't want to freak them out.
No.
However...
Yeah. The thing is, though, if he's, like, constantly disappearing... And here's the thing, though.
I don't know if he was. That's just what I was saying, because it was odd that they didn't report it right away. But they were having an affair, so it's possible... But there was nothing about him sneaking out. So...
We know who did it. I mean, we don't know officially who did it, but we know who did it.
So the retrial had a lot of conflicting and confusing testimonies.
But, like, this is, like, 4 years after. Like, I can't remember what I did yesterday.
It's not necessarily conflicting as in that. But it was evidence from the first trial, including the original autopsy reports and the grand jury testimony, had vanished completely.
What?
They'd been given to, like, the county, like, whatever the county, like, district office, whatever. And
was this, like, the only one that went missing, or, like, there were, like, 20 cases? Oh.
But I know that this one, everything was missing, and in fact, one of the, I believe it was the brother of the original prosecutor, got caught trying to sell the testimony to the press. Or, like, to sell it to the tabloids.
So I feel like we know who did it. But, like, because everybody mishandled this so poorly, like, I feel
there was a large number of new witnesses testifying against Frances and her brothers.
Why, though? Like, why are these new witnesses coming out?
It wasn't really clear, but there was a lot of people who came out saying... I feel like some of it was people saying, like, we were paid to keep silent, or just, like, we...
Oh, fuck. Sorry.
Or, like, people who... And again, Jane Gibson comes back. Her testimony was backed up by these witness accounts. But a lot of these witnesses were deemed unreliable or untrustworthy by the courts because they were lazy, they looked drunk, they looked like raggedy, and they didn't look like respectable, like...
But, like, whoever witnessed... Okay, you're telling me Lover's Lane, I doubt this is, like, in the most affluent part of town.
Well, okay, so I wrote this somewhere. Where was it? There it is.
Imagine.
So... I'll get to that in a minute. So the defense questioned Jane Gibson, and she had been the one giving them this, like, star testimony.
So I can't, like, get, like,
she's
changing it.
So they questioned her about her own marital status and her husband's, and because she gave vague and evasive replies, the jury decided that they couldn't trust her.
Okay, but, like, if I'm like, I don't want to tell you about all my ex-husbands, like, I think...
I think it was more the fact that it, like, fit her, like, MO, because she had been changing the story this whole time, so she probably
they didn't want girls in 1926 to have a Tri-State Girl Summer. They did not want...
Stop.
I'm so sorry. I'm gonna, like, never stop calling it that.
So, in the end, Frances and her brothers were all acquitted. So... Here's where I come to, like, the theory part.
The theory.
This is what I'm thinking, that a possibility of a sort of state cover-up or bribery because so Frances and her brothers had this huge fortune, like $2 million in that time. And
yeah, we know who did it. Sorry.
and it wasn't her husband, Edward. He was well off, but like moderately. She had a lot more than he did. So like you would assume that if anyone was gonna kill anyone, it was gonna be him killing her for the money. But
I feel like though, like you're flaunting this affair because like you're kind of
they're not
flaunting
necessarily flaunting it. It was just.
If everybody in town knows about
It was
the
more
affair,
like
you're
gossip.
flaunting it.
Like they weren't trying to show it off, but they were like everyone was like, oh yeah.
I feel like
Yeah.
this is
But-
unsolved.
Well, so I get that.
Are there
but
any other like suspects?
there's James, who despite having an alibi,
James
was Eleanor's husband.
Eleanor's husband. Okay.
So he was not well off at all. Like he made like $38 a week or something like that. I don't know. It was some like really low number for the time. And he knew that Eleanor had been given money from the priest. So there was the possibility of him willing to stay silent about the affair as long as Edward kept funneling them money.
I feel like what's that one like in Hamilton? Sorry,
Okay. But the thing with James is that all of the accounts that I read describe him as a simpleton. So
that's mean. I feel like though.
yeah, he was. It seems like he really had no involvement with it, and I can't see him really benefiting from it unless like he wanted to cash in on money.
But like, I don't know. Like I don't see the money, and then if he's like a simpleton, like. I guess if you're saying like they're not flaunting it, but it's gossip. Like if you're like not super bright, maybe you're not gonna like feed into that or whatever.
So
we know who did it.
And
I
again,
can't believe they like discredited.
I know.
Poor pig woman.
Well, I don't know. She didn't seem very reliable.
Okay, but like,
well,
I don't know.
So that's why I think it's like they're working with the state because, the original Somerset prosecutor clearly, his goal was to arrest someone. He arrested a young man named Clifford Hayes, who had been suggested by Raymond Schneider.
Who's Raymond?
Who was one of the people that found the bodies.
I feel like Raymond could be. Oh, and Raymond's the one with the 15-year-old. Oh my god. Okay.
Yeah.
Raymond's probably got like a vendetta against this poor man.
There was actually, yeah, he did. I didn't write it all down because it was really confusing, honestly. There was something about he didn't trust the man's father.
Okay, and this is like poor pig woman slander.
And there was like accusations against him and like his daughter and all kinds of things.
We know who did it.
So the thing with the bodies was that the Hall and Mills families both lived in Middlesex County, but the bodies were found in Somerset County, which there's
gotta cross county lines.
It's like the lane was like right on the border, but it was in Somerset County. And so Somerset County is a lot more like affluent than Middlesex County at this time. I don't know if it is now, I don't know. But the arrest of Hayes upset the Middlesex citizens because it was their idea that it was no accident that Somerset, with these affluent people, wanted to pin the crime on some lower class kid from New Brunswick.
Especially if they got that much money.
Right.
We know who did it. We know who did it. I'm sorry.
But the thing is, though, there's absolutely no way to find out.
Right, because there's like no
there's
forensic
no
evidence.
Weapons, no possible fingerprints.
Here's the thing, though, like, and then, like, there's no forensic evidence or anything, and then, like, if you're paying off not only like the state police or whatever with that much money that you have, I can clearly imagine they say here have like $100,000 or $10,000 to cover up this crime, and then they can go sell
Frances and her brothers were like high class. They were respected. They had millions.
So like, and then it would like, and then you're marrying this like dude who's gonna go out and cheat on you. Like, oh yeah, we know who did it.
So
and
then,
poor pig woman. I'm sorry, I'm really upset.
That's pretty much the end of it. They were acquitted. There was no further trials. I think she moved to like England or something. I don't know, as you do.
As you do after you've murdered your Tristan husband.
Stop. But, so, what was it? There was something else. There's some other things I didn't like write down. there was a whole thing where they kept calling witnesses. People would like say, and so the thing is with Francis's brother had a gun of the same type that was used to kill them, but it was proven that it didn't work and that he didn't like have ammunition or something like that. I don't know. Like it was
didn't have ammunition.
Like, well, no,
like,
it was like it hadn't been fired in years. Like they could tell.
How I'm not a gun expert.
Yeah.
I don't know anything about guns, but like.
And also,
No.
there's a story of one of the Hall's maids. Her sometime after the trial, her husband filed for an annulment on the grounds that she had knowledge of the murder.
Oh my God, the poor woman. Like.
Well, this is the maid.
To know about
this
murder.
is the maid.
No, I know,
Yeah.
but like that
Well,
sucks.
So, and he said that she had been paid $5,000
Ooh.
to say nothing, and that supposedly she had been at the murder. So it sounds like a lot of accounts were saying that there was multiple people there.
And that seems pretty consistent. And
Right.
then like you
It's-
talk it up to like also.
It's more of a question though of who was there, because if Frances and her brother are going out at 2:30 and they're in Middlesex County, they're not near, so I don't know how like the distance.
But they probably, if they're that rich, they probably have cars or they've got ways
Probably
to get
yes, but I don't know, because that's the thing. It's also in New Brunswick, New Jersey. I don't know how well it was with roads in the.
But
20s.
then if you've got like a lover's lane, like that's a lane for cars. I don't know.
Not necessarily. It doesn't really sound like it. I don't know. But there's a thing with the maid, and that.
I'm sorry.
That's the thing though, because who's to say it wasn't the husband? Who's to say they didn't mishear? Because they said they didn't see him, they heard him.
I feel like too much of this, like, I feel like it would be so easy to pin it on the poorer guy or, like, this, like, simpleton guy. Like, I feel like it would be so easy to pin it on him that, like, if they decided not to file charges against him, like, there must have been a reason why. Or if they acquitted him, there must have been a reason why.
Yeah, so that's, like, the fact that... It's more the fact that they didn't have the evidence they needed.
That sucks. I feel like, if this happened today, like, we'd be able to find out pretty quickly.
See, I feel like, though... Okay, if it happened today, I don't think they would have had the same thing happen at the crime scene.
I feel like that butchering the crime scene, like...
Yeah, that's the main,
Yeah.
like, problem with it. But I think if it happened today, I think if it was Frances, she still would get away with it.
I feel
$2
like...
million in the 20s is,
That's
like...
a lot.
That would be like 50 million today.
I feel like... Oh, I think it would be more. I don't know.
More, probably.
I feel like it was her brothers. Like, I feel like she was, like, kind of ordered the hit, but
I don't know, because her brothers didn't seem very involved in the trial, so there wasn't a whole lot of information. But one of them was described as, like, not passionate, but, like, I think he was described as a crack job. I think that was, like, the exact wording.
Why is everybody, like, getting so ruthless in this case? Poor pig woman, poor crack job.
Actually, fun fact about her. When she came in for the retrial and she had cancer, she was carried in on a hospital bed.
And you're still gonna be like, tell me about your ex-husband and your Tristan, and you are not credible.
The second time was because she still kept changing her story.
After 4 years, I'd be like,
I feel like, though, if you witness a murder, your story's gonna have at least some consistent points.
I think yes, but
like if she sees it, she's gonna know, okay, there was 4 people there. I heard Henry be shouted. I heard this many gunshots, or I heard somewhere in the range of this many gunshots. Or you wouldn't say it was completely pitch black, I only saw silhouettes. And then the next time, I saw faces but I couldn't make out details because of the headlights. Then I saw complete details. The guy had a mustache, she was wearing a dress. It was not consistent to the point where it was so not consistent it couldn't be relied on.
I don't know. I still think Pig Woman had good testimony, but then also like it's backed up by so many other people in the retrial.
Yeah, but also those witnesses were not credible.